Hello, my friends, and welcome to another reading video. All right, it's the first day of a new week. A new week means new letter patterns to practice. We're going to be talking about R-controlled vowels. What, Mrs. Sae-Wong? Let me explain. Whenever we have a vowel, and remember our vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So whenever we have a vowel and an R right after it, that R controls the sound of the vowel. So it makes the R sound. So you actually don't hear the A at all. You only hear the R sound. So when I say R controlled vowels, it's when we have a vowel and an R smushed together and they make just the R sound. And we're going to work on that a lot today and this week, okay? One of the R controlled vowels when we're talking about the letter AR is car. Say that with me. Car. Let's break it down. K-R. It's not K-A-R or K-A-R. It's just car. So that is where we don't hear the A. It is an R-controlled vowel, and we only hear that letter R in there. Okay? Let's break down some words. Let's do some practice so it makes a little more sense. So let's break down this word together. Ready? B-R, B-R-K, bark. All together, bark. I wanted to show you how when we have the AR, it makes just the R sound. Let's try it again. Excuse me, R, P-R-T, part. All together, part. We're starting to get it, so when we see that AR, it just makes the R sound. We don't hear the A at all. Let's try some more. So we have the SH. What does SH say when we have just SH? Trying to get that so it's not so shiny. Right, it says shh. So let's break it down. Shh, R, P, sharp. All together, sharp. Nice. So we have the AR here together. So we're not going to say it's going to be R, and then add that M. R, arm. Nice. The next one, we have R, far. Good. Next one, J-R, jar. Keep going. Art, art. Good. And last one, card, card. All together, card. Good. So again, we're just teaching our brain, our eyes to see, our ears to listen, and our mouths to say. When we see A-R together, it just makes the R sound. We're going to practice all week. Just make sure you keep practicing with me out loud at home so you get the hang of it. Okay. Sorry for the wiggles and jiggles, but don't forget a new week means new sight words. So we have some new words to practice. Let me fix this so we can actually see them. That would help. Say it with me. Great. For. Boy. City. Let's put them in a sentence. I think it is great that we learn new letter patterns every week. Great. For. Some of you have 4 brothers and sisters at home, and that is a lot of siblings, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun too. 4. And you notice how I'm using my fingers? That's the number 4, not I'm going for a walk, okay? So when we see F-O-U-R, that's the number 4. Boy. My sons, Caden and Kane, are each a boy. That's kind of a weird sentence, but I couldn't think of a better one for boy. Sorry. Some of you are a girl, and some of you are a boy. It's just the way it goes. Last one. City. We live in the city of Sparks. Well, you do. I live in the city of Reno. But we are in the city of Sparks, where you live and where the school is. Okay? Let's say them rapid fire. Ready? Great. 4. Boy. City. Awesome, my friends. Let's switch over to the other camera and we'll talk about what we're working on today. All right, here is what we're going to work on today. We need our reading log, our sight words book, our ELA workbook, and our journal. I realize we haven't worked in our journal for like 2 whole weeks. Holy moly. So go ahead and hit pause, grab these 4 books, also something to write with, and then come back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you have all the things. So first things first, let's open up our reading log. This week, we are working on retelling our story again. Last week, we worked on retelling key events in the story by drawing pictures, and it could be any event. This week, we are working on retelling by starting at the beginning, telling something about the middle, and then finally the ending of the story. Okay? It's important that when we retell stories, sometimes just important information and key details is all we need, but we also need to practice retelling in order. Because if you start at the end of a story and then try to jump to the beginning, people are going to be like, what are you talking about? What is happening? So it's important that we practice telling about a story in order. Just like you would tell your family about your school day. Well, first, we did this. We had breakfast. Then we did number corner. Finally, we went out to recess because that's my favorite time of the day. Right? You want to talk about everything in order. You wouldn't say, oh, I love recess, but then we ate breakfast. And then, I don't know, Mrs. Sae-Wong made us learn some things. Right? That doesn't work. It's all about telling in order. So, what we're doing this week, again, read your book. That's step number 1. You have to read to be able to fill out your reading log. Write the title of your book. And then one more time, you're going to tell me what happened at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Just quick, important details from the beginning, middle, and end that you think I should know about the story you read. Okay? If you have any questions, you let me know. I feel like we're getting the hang of reading logs. I mean, it only took all year long, but we're there. We're all at the end of the school year. We have got our reading logs figured out. But if you have questions, if you're stuck, if you're not entirely sure how to fill this out, let me know and we can chit chat, okay? Moving right along. We're going to open up our sight words book to the word. There we go. Set. So I'll give everybody some time to open up to set. Okay, if you need more time, just hit pause. Go ahead and say the word with me. Set. Good. Read the sentence with me. Set the table. As always, we practice writing it. We find it. We write it again. And then we draw it. Hit pause. Work on set. Come back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you are all done with set. Let's turn the page. The next word we're working on today is put. Say it with me. Put. Read the sentence with me. Put the apples in the basket. We're going to write it, find it, write it again, and draw it. Hit pause, work on put, come back when you're ready. Okay, if you're back with me, that tells me you are all done with put, which means we're all done with our sight words. Now we're moving into our ELA work number 4 book. We are going to open up to page 14, 1-4. All right, before we begin though, remember first we have to stop and put our name at the top. I'm going to write my name, and we've all watched Number Corner because we know how important Number Corner is. So the date is 4-19-21. And I said put the number corner. I meant the date. Holy moly, Mrs. Sae-Wong needs coffee. All right, on this page, we are working on those R-controlled A's. So whenever we have an AR and it gives us the R sound. Some of the words in the box have that R sound. Some of them do not. So let's go through and read all of the words first, and you can decide which ones have the AR and which ones do not. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at each picture. We're going to say it out loud, and then you are going to find the word in the box to write on the line. I will do the first one with you so you know what we're doing, but first, let's read the words. Say these words out loud with me at home so you are not only seeing it, but saying it and hearing it. Ready? Car, yarn, arm, cash, stack, barn, cat, yam, ant, card, star, bath. All right, my friends, thanks for reading those with me. So now that we've said them all out loud, we've heard them, we've read them, we see them, now we're looking for those AR words, those R-controlled words to fill in for the boxes. Let's say the first picture together. Ready? This is a car. Say it with me, car. Can we find the word car in the box? You bet. It's right here. It's the very first one. So we are going to write the word car on the line. Now what we're going to do is I will go through and say each picture with you so you know exactly what the picture is, and then it's going to be up to you to find that word in the box. Okay, ready? Number 2. This is a picture of a card. Say that with me, card. Find card and write it down. Number 3, yarn. This is a picture of yarn. Say that with me, yarn. Number 4, this is a picture of a star. Say that with me, star. If I'm going too fast, you can always hit pause. Number 5, arm. Say that with me, arm. Number 6, barn. Say that with me, barn. Awesome, my friends. Okay, when you're all done filling out page 14, make sure you send me a picture of this in Seesaw so that I can see you are practicing and getting the hang of finding those R-controlled words. Okay, finally, journal time. Let's open up to the next blank page. I already have some things written down, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first thing, I want you to find your blank page. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put our name and the date at the top. We have to make sure we're practicing that every single day, because when you all come back to school next year and you're in the classroom, you're going to have your name on your work. Otherwise, the teacher won't know whose amazing work it is. And just in case we don't remember, the date is 4-19-21. Okay, we're going to read a story today. And in that story, I'm going to ask you to pay attention to who the characters are. And you are going to write down the characters in your book. You are also going to need to pay attention and give me 2 key events. Remember, key events are the important details or important things that happened in the story. So you can hit pause and write characters and key event 1 and key event 2, or you can wait until we're done reading the story. I just wanted you to know what we needed to pay attention to so we knew what we were writing in our journal. So while I read the story, we're going to think about the characters, and we're going to think about two important details or key events. And a key event is an important event. An event is something that happens. Oh my gosh, so many new words we're learning. So whenever you hear somebody say an event, it's really just something that happened. All right? So let me switch over to our story. So this unit that we're working on is going to be all about outer space. And later this week, we're going to start talking in our science videos about the sun. I'm so excited. It's going to be lots of fun. But this story is what we call a folk tale. A folk tale is a story that's passed down from one generation to the next. So think about a story that maybe your grandma and grandpa told you, and that, or maybe told your parents, and then your parents told you, and it's just something that your family has always shared and talked about. And it might be a pretend story, it might be a real story, but folktales are stories that are passed down from one generation to the next. So this folktale is titled Why the Sun and the Moon Live in the Sky. So one other thing I want you to keep in mind is folktales are usually stories that explain something, but in a way that might not actually be true. It might be, but for things that we know to be true and not true, they're usually more stories to help people understand history or something that happened, or what is a made-believe story that helps kids understand what's going on. So folktales are usually not true. So keep that in mind as we read the story. So one more time. Why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Long, long ago, sun and moon were husband and wife. They lived together on earth in a lovely house. Each day they visited their good friend sea. And remember, when we see the word sea, they actually mean the ocean, okay? And spent time together. However, sea never visited sun and moon at their house. One day, sun asked sea, "Why don't you visit us?" "I can't leave my big family," sea explained. "There isn't enough room in your house for me to bring them." So sun and moon decided to build a larger house. Then sea could come visit them. When they finished their house, sun and moon invited sea and her family to come over. Fish, seals, and turtles flowed into the house. Soon there was 4 feet of water. Meanwhile, sea kept asking, "Are you sure you want everyone to come in?" Sun and moon replied, "Yes." As the water rose to the ceiling, sun and moon climbed outside and went to the roof. When the house was completely covered by sea and her family, sun and moon moved up to the sky. That's where they have stayed to this very day. So this folktale talked about sun and moon being a husband and wife, and they just had a regular house. But their friend sea, or the ocean, couldn't come to visit. So sun and moon decided to build a bigger house and let the ocean or the sea come in to visit them. But the more that came, the more water and the more animals, they realized they wouldn't all fit. So sun and moon climbed all the way out into the sky to give the sea their entire home, and they could spread out. And so the folk tale then would have us believe that sun and moon built earth so that the sea or the ocean could spread out across the entire earth, and that would be their home where the moon and the sun could see their friend every day. It's kind of a cool story, huh? So let's go back to what we talked about before in our journal. Remember, in our journal, let me switch my screen. So there we go. All right, in our journal today, remember, we're writing down any of the characters in the story and 2 important events or 2 things that happened. So this is just a journal writing. So I'm not going to give a sentence stem or sentence starters today because I just want to see what you think. So I do want capital letters at the beginning of our sentences, punctuation. I expect things to be spelled correctly because we have the story right in front of us. But this is just a journal. It's just to give me your idea of what you think were two important events. So let's go back to the beginning of the story. Right here, right now, I would like you to hit pause so you can see any of the characters that are on the first page so that you can spell them correctly. Okay? And make sure when you are writing characters, so we know the sun is a character, right? So I'm going to write sun. You need to make sure you add a comma after each character so that I know where one character stops and the next character begins. So when we are listing, you are going to say sun, moon, sea, whatever other characters. You're just going to write their name and write that comma to separate them. So I know that this is one character, this will be a second character, and so on. Okay? Go ahead and hit pause. Work on filling out your characters. And if you see something on this first page that is an important detail, you can write that down too. So go ahead and hit pause, work on any information on this first page, and come back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you are all done with information on this first page. Let's go to the next page of the story. Again, I would like you to hit pause to see if there are any other characters on this page that you would like to write down. And if there's another key event from the second page that you would like to write down. So hit pause, finish filling out your journal, come back when you're ready. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you are all done filling out your journal. So when you're all done and you're happy with the information you have, our reading video is all done, and I just want you to send me a picture of your journal in Seesaw so I can see everybody's list of characters and the important events in the story. Make sure you try to get this to me on Monday because we're going to use some of our journal entries for our whole class meeting on Tuesday, okay? So if you can get this done to me today, that would be great. That way we can talk about it some more together on Tuesday because finding important events and finding characters can kind of be tricky. So that's why I'm giving you the job to do it today by yourself, and then tomorrow we'll talk about it and we can answer any questions you might have. But other than that, we are all done, my friends. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see everybody later at our meetings. Bye, friends.